Folks, we're here to talk about the Castle Doctrine today, and it does not give you the right to shoot anyone in your house. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, and I'm here, as always, with the special guest, noted criminal defense attorney Tom Grieve, also a former state prosecutor. Tom, let me break down this story for you. We don't have any video of it. There's some news reports out there about it, but I thought it was important enough that we needed to address it. A homeowner in Pennsylvania hears noises in his house and goes to investigate. He hears people talking, sees two people in his house, fires a shot. The two people flee. They take off running. He fires 4 more shots, killing the man, wounding the woman, and then he calls police. And he says to the 911 operator, "There's people in my house. I don't want them to get away. The cops need to get here." Apparently, he indicated that he shot at them. And police arrive, and they arrest him. And throughout the course of the initial investigation, what we're looking at now is a charge of murder, a charge of homicide, a charge of attempted murder, and a charge of aggravated assault on this guy who shot people who were in his house. And I know that a ton of people are going to say, well, Castle Doctrine, he gets to shoot them. They were in his house. How is it that this does not apply?
Right. Well, number one, laws change from place to place. So as an attorney, let me just caveat everything by saying that laws change with place and time. USCCA.com/laws with an S at the end to make sure that you can get a map where you can click on each state and get a general sense as to what their laws may be. That's number one. Number two, let's just briefly recap what the general self-defense laws are. Generally speaking, if I'm confronted right now with a deadly threat, I can generally speaking use deadly force. I say generally because, again, all the details vary from state to state. Here in Wisconsin, if I'm in reasonable fear of imminent death or great bodily harm, then I can employ deadly force. All right, that's our formula here. But again, details obviously vary from place to place. What Castle Doctrine does is it basically says that there's certain places where those rules, they don't disappear, but we just basically can make assumptions. So for instance, your home or dwelling. If I'm presently occupying my home and if somebody's in the process of breaking into or has broken into my home and I'm inside, then it creates a legal presumption that I can now use deadly force against them. But again, presumption. And as you've heard me say before, Kevin, anytime you hear that P word presumption, you need to remember there's an R word that comes right after it, rebuttable, meaning it's not a license to kill. The state, the government, whoever the prosecuting agency or actors may be, can introduce evidence to rebut and overcome that presumption that you were lawfully using deadly force. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do here.
Yeah, typically when I talk about the Castle Doctrine, I say that the Castle Doctrine requires the state or requires the prosecution to assume that someone breaking into your house while you're in there, assume that they're going to cause great bodily harm or death. So it gives you that opportunity to use deadly force. But it's still, like you said, all the rules still apply in this case. If the bad guy starts going away, then that imminent threat in all likelihood has stopped. I mean, there might be some cases where you're still facing an imminent threat. But in this case, it was very clear to investigators and probably even from the statements that the homeowner made that these people were running toward an exit. They were trying to get away. So if the bad guy is running away, how can somebody claim, I'm in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm? So
right. And we have to remember what's the tool? What is law enforcement? What is the legislature? What are we trying to do by having Castle Doctrine? And it's not to give homeowners a license to kill. It's meant to equalize the playing field with the bad guys that come in. Because without Castle Doctrine, somebody breaks into your home, it's 2 a.m. or something like that. You come downstairs, you see them in the kitchen. Without Castle Doctrine, you're going to have to be able to specifically and forcefully articulate, if you use deadly force, how they were threatening you right then and there to take your life.
Yeah.
What Castle Doctrine does, in essence, is says, look, I don't have to let them make the first move to stab me, to shoot me, and to somehow then overcome the reactionary gap in order to protect myself. Mm-hmm. Castle Doctrine says, no, you don't have to do that. You are now going to be, at a minimum, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner or apartment or whatever the residence may be, you are now on equal footing where you don't have to let them try to kill you or to try to take your life. You can now act decisively within the law to protect yourself. But of course, again, it's rebuttable, and that's
Yeah.
what we have here.
And you mentioned our state laws and reciprocity page. Very good information out there, and I encourage people all the time to get education, to understand the laws and things like that. But that last part I just said, understanding the laws. If you go to uscca.com/laws and you look and it says Castle Doctrine and you assume that now you can just start shooting, you don't know enough about Castle Doctrine. You need to educate yourself about what that means. So for homeowners, for people who are thinking of defending themselves with a firearm, what is the key takeaway from this type of incident that they should always remember?
And not speaking like an attorney? You want this in English?
Yeah, let's try that this time.
We'll try that for a change. We'll see where it goes. I'm going to say that the key takeaway is education in this one, because you need to be educated in the laws. You need to know what you can do and what you cannot do. Where are those lines that will decide what the outcome, what the legal outcome of your action is? And that's something where this homeowner had no idea. There was no education there.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I go back to what I've said for years is if they're running away, let them run away. It's you're a private citizen. If I'm working as a law enforcement officer, yep, my job to go chase them, and I always shrug. Now I got to chase them, and they're running away. But as a homeowner or private citizen or whatever, if they're running away, let them run away. As promised, now you have the opportunity to win a firearm. So down in the description, there is a link. Click that link. You'll get all the details about how you can win that gun. Click on that link and you'll get all the details. And also, because we talked about knowing the laws, understanding what you can and can't do and where your permits are good and not good, there's a link down there that'll take you right to the concealed carry laws and reciprocity map page from the USCCA. We want you to understand what you can do, where you can do it, and how to keep yourself out of trouble. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. My guest has been Tom Grieve, noted criminal defense attorney. Thank you folks for watching. And if you like these videos, subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell. We'll notify you every time we come out with a new video. Stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next video.